Have you ever wondered how stress affects your body? Well, you should, because it could be slowly killing you. Many years ago, just out of pharmacy school, I attended a seminar on aging, and I have never forgotten one thing from that seminar. It was that the top 3 factors in aging and disease are stress, diet, and exercise, in that order. Not genetics, not environment, not some unknown factor. While there are other factors that can cause disease, there is no disputing that stress can make us sick and old. What this means is that we are in control of our health. You are your own healer. Why weren't we told these things growing up? One word: money. Your failing health is a cash cow for 2 of the most powerful businesses known to man, the prescription drug and medical industries. So let's discuss why stress is the #1 factor to aging and disease, and then we will look at ways to take back control of our health. The Creator designed our inconceivably intricate human body to protect itself in many ways. You are a true miracle designed to respond to fear, so people who live in constant fear are creating the very circumstances they fear. It all begins in our brain, that intricate command center, which perceives stress and consequently triggers a cascade of biological reactions. Imagine you're walking through a serene forest. Suddenly, a wild animal leaps out. Your brain immediately perceives this as a threat and signals your adrenal glands to release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline increases your heart rate, blood pressure, and energy supplies. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, suppresses non-emergency bodily functions like your immune response and digestion. Cortisol also curbs functions that would be non-essential in a fight or flight situation and enhances the body's ability to repair tissues. So we have a yin and yang thing going on. One chemical stimulates systems we need to escape, while another chemical suppresses bodily functions that we don't need happening at that time, so our body can send oxygen to where it's needed most. This reaction, known as the fight or flight response, is a survival mechanism that allows us to react quickly and efficiently to life-threatening situations. However, what happens when the wild animal is not a creature in the forest but a constant barrage of work emails, traffic jams, or financial worries? In our modern world, the line between immediate threats and prolonged stressors has blurred, leading to a state of chronic stress in many of us. We tend to magnify everyday events such as the dishwasher breaking or a check not coming in the mail. These are not life or death situations, but when we overreact to them, our body doesn't know the difference and sets the response in motion, bombarding us with adrenaline and cortisol. This means our bodies are persistently stuck in this fight or flight mode. The continuous release of adrenaline and cortisol not only depletes our stores of these chemicals, but it can wreak havoc on our bodies. Cortisol, for instance, is designed to be a temporary slowing of certain vital functions, but when constantly present, it can suppress our immune system, increase blood pressure, cause digestive problems, and lead to cardiovascular problems. Moreover, stress hormones can also interfere with other bodily functions like hair growth, potentially leading to conditions like hair loss and premature graying. So yes, your stressful job could be contributing to those silver strands sprouting from your scalp. So while the human body is a marvel, designed to protect us and react to immediate dangers, the brain and your thoughts are the captain of the ship, so to speak. When faced with the persistent, low-grade threats of modern life, this protective mechanism can turn into a ticking time bomb that is aging you and causing disease. So now you know what happens inside your body when you're stressed out. But what does this mean for your overall health? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the effects of stress on our bodies in our next scene. You might be surprised to learn just how much of an impact stress can have on your physical health. The ripples stress sends throughout our bodies are far-reaching and can manifest in a variety of ways. Some folks might experience headaches or muscle tension, while others grapple with chest pain or fatigue. Even your drive for intimacy can be thrown out of balance by the insidious touch of stress. But the effects of stress don't just stop at these physical symptoms. It's like an unwelcome house guest that overstays its welcome, and it can wreak havoc on your entire immune system. When your body is constantly in fight or flight mode, your immune system wears down, making you more susceptible to illnesses. It's as if stress throws open the doors, inviting in every passing germ and virus into your temple. But it doesn't just stop there. Chronic stress is not something to be taken lightly because it can and does lead to serious health problems. When our bodies are constantly on high alert due to stress, it can wreak havoc on our physical and mental health. Prolonged periods of stress can contribute to the development of cardiovascular disease. Chronic stress increases our resting heart rate. A persistently elevated heart rate can cause cardiomegaly or an enlarged heart. Noradrenaline, a neurotransmitter whose release is increased during the flight or fight response with similar effects on the heart. But norepinephrine also constricts your blood vessels while cortisol raises your cholesterol, creating the perfect storm for a heart attack or stroke. So your doctor prescribes heart drugs. Moreover, stress can exacerbate conditions like diabetes or actually be the cause of type 2 diabetes. About 38 million Americans have diabetes, and 90 to 95% of them have type 2 diabetes. So how can stress cause diabetes? When stressed, insulin levels drop and adrenaline levels increase to assure that more glucose and energy is available to fight or run. Simultaneously, elevated cortisol levels make body tissues less sensitive to the insulin that is available. The result is lots of circulating glucose. This isn't a problem short-term, but chronic elevated levels lead to, you guessed it, diabetes. So your doctor prescribes drugs for diabetes. Gastrointestinal problems such as irritable bowel syndrome and ulcers can also be aggravated by stress. Let's look at this. When your body is preparing itself for imminent danger by conserving functions that aren't immediately needed for survival, digestion is one of them. The muscles that move food through the digestive system are slowed down, and so is the secretion of enzymes that break down your food. As the upper GI tract is slowing down, stress increases motor function in the large intestine to evacuate and run, another perfect storm, so your doctor prescribes more drugs. On the mental health front, chronic stress is a well-known trigger for anxiety, depression, and addiction. We touched on noradrenaline above, but let's delve a little deeper. Noradrenaline or norepinephrine is normally released from nerve endings, but its release is increased during the flight or flight response. Too much noradrenaline causes anxiety, while too little causes depression and is associated ADHD. To understand the effects of norepinephrine on mental health, we must look at its manufacture in the body. The fact is that adrenaline and noradrenaline are produced from dopamine. When adrenaline and noradrenaline are overproduced, dopamine is depleted, resulting in low dopamine levels. Low dopamine levels can cause depression, schizophrenia, and ADHD, as well as restless leg syndrome and Parkinson's disease. While this is a simplification of the carefully orchestrated, near-instantaneous sequence of hormonal changes that occur from stress, you get the point. And what does your doctor prescribe for these various mental disorders? You got it. Lots of drugs with lots of side effects that can interfere with the delicate balance of these chemicals in your body. I hope now you can understand why the management of stress is critical for a healthy body and mind. The good news is that you don't have to live with the constant burden of stress. There are many ways to combat it. Let's start with prescription drugs. Big Pharma has created a cornucopia of drugs to treat the physical manifestations of chronic stress. While I don't recommend complete abrupt removal of all prescription drugs, especially if you are already taking them or at a critical stage, I do recommend prevention or adjunctive intervention with natural methods of intervention. Your doctor has most likely encouraged lifestyle changes, which you ignored. I prefer to think of these lifestyle changes as alternative treatments, because studies have shown that consistent application of alternative methods have oftentimes been just as effective as prescription drugs in both prevention and treatment of various medical conditions. Now let's look at those natural approaches. There are various herbs known to have stress-relieving properties. Since nutritional supplements are a generally unregulated industry, it's ripe for abuse and contamination by snake oil salesmen. For this reason, I prefer using fresh herbs that you can often grow or obtain from an herbalist. Having said that, our busy lives and lack of related education often require us to buy the manufactured versions. There are many excellent manufacturers out there, and I encourage you to do a little research to find established ones with a good history of producing quality supplements. Now I will give you some herbal options specifically known to assist in stress control. First up is chamomile, which is often consumed as a tea and has a calming effect. Another herb, ashwagandha, has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries to combat stress. Rhodiola has a long history of traditional use and can reduce mental fatigue, depression, and improve recovery stress-induced physical fatigue. Studies have shown that passion flower is an effective method of treating stress reactivity, anxiety, and insomnia. Clinical studies of lavender aromatherapy has shown a statistical reduction of heart rate and blood pressure, but no significant reduction on psychological stress. Lastly, if you can't sleep due to stress, you can try valerian root. However, treating stress isn't just about what you can take. It's also about maintaining regular physical exercise, which has been proven to reduce stress levels. It does so by boosting your mood and acting as a natural painkiller. Diet also plays a crucial role. Consuming a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains can help regulate your mood and energy levels. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish and flax seeds are particularly beneficial for brain health and can help manage stress symptoms. Lastly, mindfulness techniques such as meditation, art therapy, and deep breathing exercises can also be incredibly beneficial. These practices help you focus on the present moment, reducing the constant churn of worry and anxiety that often accompanies stress. So there are numerous ways to manage stress, the silent killer. Remember, the goal isn't to completely eliminate stress, but to learn how to handle it in a healthy way. And with the body learns and adapts quickly and with time, these practices will become the way you naturally respond to stress. It will become effortless. Did you know that you don't necessarily have to feel stressed to be experiencing stress? That's right. There's something called unconscious stress, a kind of stress that we are not actively aware of. It's like a phantom lurking in the shadows of our mind, silently influencing our health and well-being. It's a sneaky visitor that enters without knocking and stays without an invitation. This silent stressor can be brought about due to unresolved issues, suppressed emotions, or even day-to-day activities that we've become so accustomed to that we no longer recognize them as stress-inducing. From the moment we wake up, we're making decisions: what to wear, what to eat, which route to take to work. All these seemingly mundane tasks can subconsciously contribute to our stress levels. Not to mention the chronic exposure to digital media, the constant barrage of information, and the pressure to keep up with the fast-paced world all add up to this invisible burden of stress. Unconscious stress can manifest in various ways, from physical symptoms like headaches, digestive issues, and sleep disturbances, to emotional symptoms like mood swings, irritability, and a general sense of unease. It can also impact our cognitive function, leading to problems with memory, concentration, and decision-making. The tricky part about unconscious stress is its stealthy nature. Because we're not aware of it, we often fail to address it. But just like the stress we can feel, it's equally important to recognize and manage this unseen stress. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and regular physical exercise can help us become more attuned to our bodies and minds, and thus more aware of the stress that lies beneath our conscious awareness. So it's not just about managing the stress we can feel, but also the stress we can't. The key is to tune into our bodies and minds, to listen to the subtle cues they give us, and to respond with compassion and care. So what have we learned about stress? From the biology perspective, we've unraveled how stress is our body's instinctive response to perceived threats. It's a complex mechanism involving hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine, which can affect everything from our heart rate to our digestion and mental health. We've also delved into the effects of stress, understanding that prolonged exposure can wreak havoc on our health, exacerbating or even causing certain diseases. Conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and even hair loss or graying can be linked to chronic stress. We've explored treatments, discovering the potential side effects of prescription drugs and the importance of considering alternatives. From herbs that can help soothe our nerves to unconventional methods like meditation and yoga, we've seen that there are many ways to combat stress. Remember, stress is a part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. The human body is the most ingeniously engineered machine known to man. The same creator gave us esoteric and incomprehensible benefits when we explore nature and the inner self. Man has sought to duplicate these miracles but will always be motivated by greed. Who do you trust?